College Gymvits fan going live on YouTube. See, I got Tiki Live on my Fire Stick, as well as Philo and Swift streams. Now I'm going to go to Tiki Live, the cable alternative. Not a whole lot of channels with this, but there is a DVR.
$1 you have to donate. There's not an extra button you have to push. Just by ordering your piece, it's done. Being altruistic and shopping at the same time.
See, it says Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Ah. Go to DVR. Now it's loading DVR files. I have like 88 files. See, there's Arlington and there's Santa Save, Rescue 911. This is a full video of Rescue 911. I just gotta decide which one I'm gonna put on there. Oh, I think I'll do peeping prowler sister save. It's 4:58 a.m. Now with the Amazon Fire Stick, I don't know how to get the thing off at the bottom. I wonder if it goes off as time goes by.
We begin at an apartment complex near the University of Florida campus in Gainesville on the night of October 9, 1986. From a nearby apartment, Margaret Lavelle saw something in the shadows.
A lot of the students play games in the complex on young girls there, just peeking in. But it just didn't look right to me. He just didn't look like a normal person that would just be hanging around the building. That's what really scared me the most of all.
Neither Margaret nor her husband John were sure how serious the situation was.
He just looked strange. He really did. He looked wicked. So then finally I decided to call the sheriff's department.
The call came into dispatcher Janice Whitney at 9:30 p.m.
Sheriff's emergency? Yes, I'm calling. I live in the Fox Hollow apartment. I'm reporting a peeking Tom. Okay, what does the person look like, ma'am? He's about 6 foot. He's right now looking in the window. We're watching him. Okay, do you want a white, ma'am? White. What's the address?
At first, this one didn't seem unusual at all. We have prowler or peeping Tom calls all the time.
Okay, stay on the phone, ma'am, okay? Okay.
No, peeping Tom and prowler.
87 to 20.
From 5 miles away,
This was taken off, recorded off Get TV.
Minutes to get to the scene. Deputy Claire Noble was less than a mile away.
173.
They asked for a unit to come back him up, and I said I would be en route. You're not supposed to be interrupted in dinner, but when you only have so many officers working the road, you don't want somebody to go to a call by themselves, especially a prowler call, because you never know. It could be somebody watching his girlfriend, or it could be a burglar.
Okay, did you see what he was wearing? All I know is he was wearing jeans and a dark colored shirt. Okay, do you know if anybody lives in that apartment? Yes, I do. 2 young girls. They're college students.
2 young females live in that apartment.
Well, 50 to 50. Good advice. This will be a white male, 6 foot. Kind of wearing clothing. To 23. Okay, I want to keep you on until the deputy gets there, because he will probably run when he sees the deputy's car. I need you to let me know which way he goes. Okay. I've got a couple of deputies coming as a matter of fact? Okay, our deputy is there, and she's going to come up on foot. It's a female deputy, but she's in regular uniform, so let me go ahead and keep you on the phone.
They had given me directions that didn't make much sense when I got there. I got in there, it was the wrong area.
Every time a car would come through the parking lot, he would run around the building.
Did he spot the deputy? Do you have any idea? Is she up that close? Can y'all see the deputy? I'm in the, wait a minute, let me hold on. Okay. In the kitchen. She ran, that she can't see the deputy on them. Okay, you said that we take the main entrance to Fox Hollow, and then take your first right, and then go all the way down to the end of the left? She repeated the directions.
173 to 87, those directions are wrong.
He's back again. He's back in front again. He's got something in his hand. What do you think it is, a gun or no? I don't know. He's got something in his hand, but they can't tell what.
Let's enter be advised. The subject is advised he has something in his hand, unable to advise what it is.
When I first saw him, there was light between us, and it was very hard for me to see exactly what he was doing.
Sheriff's office, freeze! Turn around!
Almost immediately, I realized that his hands were not where they should be, and I couldn't see what he had in his hands.
It's just a toy!
It's real hard to tell a toy from a real when you talk about guns, because they make guns look so real nowadays. We have to be certain that this guy just wasn't some crazy with a toy gun.
No, she didn't get him. He ran around the corner.
Any additional units that can be 1051 Fox Hollow, so he did signal there. There's 1031 on foot.
When we continue,
It's just a toy gun!
Officer, primary department needs backup, will you?
a call about a peeping Tom in Gainesville, Florida, sent Sheriff's deputies Chuck Sexton and Claire Noble racing to the scene. But when Deputy Noble arrived and confronted the man, he aimed what appeared to be a gun at him and pulled the trigger.
Subject in the area of the pond. Got a direction, 173. 10-4, he ran towards the end of the complex in the pond. Can't take him out.
Sheriff's office, hold! Drop the gun! Drop the gun!
That's just a toy gun!
Drop the gun!
Don't shoot! Don't shoot!
Stop!
Don't shoot me!
Drop the gun!
Deborah Yoakum was awakened by the screams echoing through the apartment complex.
Toy! It's the toy gun!
Drop it! Don't shoot! Drop it!
Deborah's call came into dispatcher Serena Osborne.
Yes, ma'am, there's an officer at Pine Meadow Apartment that needs backup immediately. Pine Meadow Apartment. No, 2-5. Officer is having a fight with a man out here. He told him to call the toy gun. She just shot him.
Oh, God. Who did he shoot?
Shot.
Who got shot, ma'am?
The man that he was...
All she could state was the man had been shot.
Shot, ma'am. Huh? Pine Meadow Apartment. The officer needs backup. Where exactly are they?
Every time we hear that shots have been fired at a scene, it scares us. You know, you can't let it show. You have to keep on doing your job. But I was very concerned for Deputy Sexton. He is a friend. I've known him for a long time.
We just felt like we were helpless in that situation because we're on the other end of the phone and he's not there.
My first thought when I heard the shots was that Chuck had been shot. When a fellow officer gets shot or gets hurt in the line of duty, it's personal. It becomes a very personal thing. And I was feeling guilty that I hadn't shot the guy and stopped him before Chuck had gotten there.
Shots fired, suspect down. I'm in the tennis courts.
10-4, it is 70, 10-4.
Hurt slightly. I had to shoot him.
We immediately got the ambulance en route, and more units were dispatched.
Can you see? Yes, ma'am. He's right outside my bedroom window here underneath the tree. Is she talking to her now? Yes. There's an officer coming.
When I saw Claire and Danny, as far as, I was concerned, they were the two best looking people I've seen in my life.
God, that sense of relief that he was okay.
Deputy Sexton suffered only minor injuries during the struggle.
The suspect was still playing mind games. He wanted to make himself look like he hadn't done anything wrong, that we had misinterpreted his actions and shot him for no reason at all. He was still trying to act crazy.
I told him to drop the gun and we'd find his mother, that we just needed to get the gun out of his hand. And he was telling me it's a toy gun, I just want my mom. And he started to turn around, and as he turned around, I had my portable radio in my hand, and I hit his gun hand with the portable radio. I realized that when he turned around and grabbed my gun, this guy's playing for keeps. He knew how to grab the gun, knowing that as long as he had control of the cylinder, I wouldn't be able to shoot him. I was wondering, how in the world did I let this guy, get a hold of my gun? Am I fixing to die here tonight? When he grabbed me by the groin, I was able to bend over and obtain my backup gun.
He confessed to several murders in Alabama, which in fact he had escaped from the authorities in Alabama after being arrested for these murders. I found out a couple hours after the shooting that he was on the FBI's 10 Most Wanted list.
If he'd gotten the gun, he'd killed me. He'd already killed 4 people that they knew about. He had told the investigators he had just raped a girl 3 hours previously in an apartment complex not 3 miles from there. Kind of a sobering experience, and also made me feel a little more at ease that, that I had shot someone that was a 10 Most Wanted fugitive, and somebody
Stanford
that was,
and Son,
deranged
weeknights at 10 p.m.
and wanted his
Eastern.
mommy and got caught peeping in a window.
The gun the suspect claimed was a toy actually was a loaded .32 caliber semi-automatic with a jab. He was returned to Alabama, where he was tried, found guilty of 3 murders, and sentenced to death.
When the call was dispatched that night, I had plans later on that evening meeting my mom and my wife Terry and my son JP at our house because it was my mom's birthday. And I remember finding a guy thinking, I'm not going to die on my mom's birthday. I personally feel that sometimes police officers are given a bad rap as they shoot first and ask questions later, and the entire opposite is true. It's such a final decision. Once you fire that gun, you can't bring that bullet back. It's better been the right decision.
Next,
Anytime you have a fire in the house, children will tend to hide from fire. And we found in fire deaths after a fire, they have in places of hiding.
On November 29, 1989, David and Cynthia Carter left their 2 young daughters in the care of a babysitter overnight for the first time in their lives. But they had no reason to be worried on that quiet night in Dallas.
That evening, we had asked the city to stay that night because my husband always plays basketball on Wednesday nights, and that particular night he had to go to work early. And we knew he wasn't going to be home that evening, and I also was out of town on business that evening. So we had to have a sitter there. And this was the first time I had ever left town as far as leaving my children in the care of someone else. And that was difficult for me as far as doing that. So I was kind of apprehensive about that.
Around 8 p.m., the babysitter had the two girls get ready for bed.
Kate and Aaron were sleeping in the same room together, which normally is Aaron's room. But since the sitter was staying there that night, the sitter was going to sleep in Kate's room. The babysitter put the children to bed and tucked them in, and apparently shut the door to their room so she wouldn't disturb them because she wanted to stay and watch television.
Though the Garfields had checked their smoke alarm just 2 weeks before, on that night it didn't work. The exploding windows triggered the burglar alarm. Eight-year-old Kate was awakened by the sound of the alarm.
I saw smoke coming into the room. Then I touched the door handle. The door handle was hot, and it told me not to open the door. I crawled to the window, and I tried to break it with my hand, and it didn't work, and it was scary.
A passerby noticed the blaze and ran to a nearby house, where he woke Dwight Bookout.
We heard it pounding on the door, and this time the smell was overwhelming. The fire was rapidly getting out of control. I called Gay and asked her to call 911 and get assistance as quickly as possible. I knew the children were in the house, and my immediate concern was, my God, where are the children?
Hello?
Gay Patrick's call for help came in at 12:54 a.m.
I thought, how could this be happening? It didn't seem like it was real. I thought I was having a bad dream. It was one of those things where you hope for a miracle.
Emergency units from the Dallas Fire Department were immediately dispatched.
Let's clear the house, man. Let's go. Let's clear the house.
Fire investigator Tom Omick was also sent to the scene.
Anytime you have a fire in a house, children will tend to hide from fire. We found them in fire deaths after a fire, many times in places of hiding.
My mom and my dad, including my school, taught me to, if there was a fire, break the window with something.
Even after Kate broke through the glass, a scream kept her and her 6-year-old sister trapped inside. The babysitter heard Kate's cries for help.
When she got the screen off, then I got out, then we went to the middle of the yard. I turned around, my sister was not behind me. So I went back in the house.
The fire department was on the scene within 7 minutes, headed by Captain Bill Crawford.
When we arrived at the house, it was fully involved. The glass had ruptured in the front part of the house. There were flames everywhere. It's a miracle that the girls got out of the home when they did. Had this young girl not had the presence of mind to follow the instructions that she had received, I don't think they would have made it.
Katie was able to do many of the right things, and it worked just right. She did, however, go back in to get her sister, which in this case worked out great. But this is not the normal situation. Once you get out of the burning building, stay out. Do not go back in. People that go back into burning buildings usually do not get back out alive.
It was such a close call. I mean, we're talking about if it was delayed anymore, or had Catherine opened the door, it would have killed them immediately. What kills me is how the heat was so intense it melted the oven glass.
It's just amazing that something can burn this fast. The fire training that the children had was quite in-depth by us instilling in Kate and Aaron what needs to happen to get themselves out of the fire. It saved their lives. I just can't say enough about fire education as far as in the schools and what the fire department does.
Here's some of your schoolwork, Katie. 100, how about that? You see that?
The thought of losing the children, it's still quite frightening to us. It's something that I think I'll think about for quite a long time.
Investigators determined that the fire that destroyed the Cargo's home was caused by faulty wiring in their den. 3 months later, they're beginning to put the pieces of their life back together and trying to erase the memory of that near tragic night.
We lost everything. And, you know, it sounds kind of corny, but you realize that life's too short. It makes you, I don't know, just really take time to enjoy life, because it could be over in a matter of seconds.
Although Kate received awards for her heroism, she values most the praise from her peers.
Dear Kate, I think you are a hero. I am so glad you saved
The credits are on Rescue 911.
Every once in a while, I'll take a deep breath and just realize how close we came to losing our children. And that makes all the difference in the world, because nothing else really matters.
You are very brave, and I really admire you.
Okay, now I'm gonna delete the recording. For more Rescue 911 videos, hit the big red button and subscribe. Peace out, YouTube.